Good morning, madam and everyone. First of all, I really appreciate you taking time to listen us. We are first year student, Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, and will be present to you about factors that influence design process construction. We have divide our presentation into three parts. I'm Nisa, and I will give you a brief introduction of our topic and go to first point, which is topography. Next, my group mate Izati will talk about second and third point, which are budget and design themes. Last but not least, Aziza will talk about fourth point, sustainability, and conclude our presentation. Why a design process is very important? A design process is absolutely necessary for every project you are on. Here, I want to highlight one reason why. It decreases risk of failure. All aspects of product design need consideration, and good design process account for everything. Which you can create a great looking product with visual design alone, but if there is no thought behind it, visibility or no research behind it, you increase the risk that your product will fail. Every design is unique, and this is generally step-by-step guide to the design process in its indicative only. One of step design process is do a SWOT analysis. D is to ensure the product created is quality and not based on quantity. D is just like Aisha Miyake, Japanese fashion designer, concept that design not for philosophy, it's for life. There are many factors that can influence the design process. Here are four factors that influence design process construction, which are topography, budget, design change, and sustainability. Let's get started talking about topography. Design or choose your house to respond to the natural topography of the site. Identify soil quality on site that suit the slope and minimize excavation. Minimize the use excavation and fill to save energy, preserve natural drainage pattern, and prevent soil erosion. And also vegetation that can be incorporated into open space, used for wind protection, or used as a part of the site drainage system. Make it a priority to retain native vegetation where possible, such as consider the orientation, climate responsive design, and site-specific variables to maintain size and shape of topography as fast as possible. Regardless of these, we need to choose alternative site or deliver carefully to minimize the impact. Okay, let's move on to the next point. I will pass to Izati.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. For the next point is budget. The budget of the client can also influence the design process greatly, as this greatly affect how big build will be. It also affects the materials that can be used and the land that it can be built on. The Riba Plan of Work 2013 or Royal Institute British Architects defined the project budget as the client's budget for the project, which may include the construction cost as well as the cost of certain items required post completion and during the project's operational use. The project budget is set by the client and is distinct from the cost plans prepared by a cost consultant, which are likely to focus on the construction cost. Before design is started, personal quotations are made so that the client has an idea what can be built and what can be built from the amount of money that they have. Quotation can be made from taking information from the past built with the same purpose and the same budget. If the design costs more than expected, then it also influences the design process, meaning that the materials or size may need to be changed, starting the whole process again, costing a lot of money and time. So the third point is design changes. Changes in design greatly affect the process. If the client wants to change part of the design, it will cost a high amount of money to change, as they would have to restart the whole design process. This will also cause the design process to take a lot longer than it would without a change. Frequent changes have often caused time delays and cost overruns. These changes over and over again lead to rework, which can degrade the project performance. Without a proper without a proper change management strategy, undesired design changes will result in unexpected rework, which lead to delay and disruption have negative effect on construction project performance. This may involve This is because may involve hiring more people, or the architect can refuse the change if the change is small. Although design change has tremendous negative effects, attention paid to proactively manage the impact of these changes is limited. For example, of one of many cases design changes that much affected the project performance in Malaysia is the construction of low-cost air terminal Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2, or we call as KLIA 2, where the cost overruns and time delays are pertinent. The new design concept caused the construction cost to increase from the initial 1.7 billion ringgit to 4 billion ringgit, along with the opening date moved several times. Therefore, changes design on a project can give a big impact to the design process and should be restrained from happening so that such problems can be avoided. So moving to our next last point, I will pass it to Aziza.
Thank you, Izzati. I will continue to present the last point, which is sustainability. Sustainability must be emphasized by designers to ensure the design process is an environmentally friendly approach. We as designers should stop depending on carbon energy to reduce the impact on the environment. We can think in terms of design process. We can we can think to reduce the impact, we can think in terms of design process construction that depends on renewable energy, such as solar panel installation. Solar panels do not produce greenhouse gases, which help combat the negative effect of climate change and also make construction environmentally responsible. Next, sustainability factor can be influenced by save more costs in the design process. Designers need to make construction processes more efficiency by planning phase specifically include a time frame. It is because to avoid the client changing the mind from sustainable product to unsustainable product. Materials play an essential role in protecting the environment. As a designer, we should take an alternative by using recycled the materials or for which the earth can recreate in a short amount of time in construction. This way, we can save more costs and at the same time ensure no one harm. For example, IKEA depends on mixed woods to replace traditional varieties of wood that take a long time to grow. In conclusion, identify the factors that influence the design process like this can ensure that construction is going smoothly. It also allows the designer to be efficient, transparent, and focused on creating the best product possible. Paul Rand, an American art director and graphic designer, mentioned that the designer does not begin with some preconceived idea. Rather, the idea is the result of careful study and observation, and the design a product of that idea. That brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening. Anyone have a question? If not, that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.